What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Yeah, no hat today. I know it's kind of crazy. No hat, so I can't be the no hat guy. So while I was out in Magifest, one of my friends showed up, 𝗙𝐈𝐒𝐄, who, if you don't know, has like a long-running show at a hotel out here called the 𝗏𝗧𝗨𝗙𝗙. He's also made a ton of appearances on Jimmy Fallon. He's had a few TV shows. He's worked for 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗟𝗢𝗪. He's worked as a consultant for 𝗦𝗧𝗥𝗢𝗟𝗍𝒡 and 𝗦𝗧𝗥𝗢𝗟𝗡𝗙. He's been all over the place. And it's because of those specific things that I wanted to talk to him and find out a little bit of like his thoughts on things, because he's one of the few people that's literally played every role. He's been the consultant, he's been the creator, he's been the guy at the magic clubs, the magic companies. He's been in front of the camera, behind the camera, creating for the camera, creating for real life, performing in real life, performing for the TV. He's been all of them. So I wanted to get a little bit of insight and let you guys get to see that, so you guys can make up your own opinion on what you want to do, since he's been kind of everything. I'm not saying that his answers will make you decide one way or the other, but I think it's an interesting discussion to just talk to a friend of mine and find out more about him and the things that he does, because really that's what it was about. It was about me wanting to find out more about my friend. Yeah, and I guess I'll just say it now. You know, if you like what I'm doing here, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell if you want to be notified of the next video. I also stream on Twitch almost every other day, so you can follow me there. All the links will be in the description below. Anyways, enough of that. Let's get to the interview with my friend 𝗙𝐈𝐒𝐄. Let's just go. So here we are. Here.
Yeah.
We're here, and I have some questions.
Okay.
Some of them are very deep.
But deep answers.
Maybe. Really, what I want is, I want to ask things that you probably don't hear a lot.
Okay.
I don't care how you got into magic.
Right.
I don't care about things like that. What I care about is...
Can I help you, gentlemen? Can I help you, gentlemen?
No, just part of the convention. So, I want to ask things to you, at you. But I don't care about things like, how did you get started?
Right.
And it's not to be rude. It's not, you know, I get it. We all get started our own way. But I think you've been in certain positions that are different than a lot of people, because you've gone through many different phases. So I kind of want to talk about things like that.
All right.
So because a lot of people now, I think, know of your show more than anything, because you're on Fallon all the time. Why did you want to do a show like that? Was it something you've always wanted to do, or was it something that somebody else approached you with and you worked together on? Like, what's up with your show?
Yeah, so I'd always wanted to do a show like that. I mean, every magician eventually wants their own show, right? I mean, that's kind of part of it, or at least the recognition to want to have someone want you to have a show, you know? So,
right.
But it wasn't something where I was like, oh, I'm going to go around and pitch this show and try to find somebody who wants it. It kind of came through a series of fortunate events. I was working with this restaurant, 11 Madison Park, which is the best restaurant in the world, and the owner basically approached us to do like a thing with cars and their dessert course for them. Then they eventually opened up this other hotel and restaurant called the 𝗏𝗧𝗨𝗙𝗙, and you know, a few years passed, and we had done a bunch of other little things with them, and finally they were just like, oh, we've got this room, do you want to do something with it? Do you want to do a show in it? And at first in my head I was a little hesitant, because I didn't want to just do like a stand-up like comedy sort of.
Yeah. You don't want to be the corny.
Right.
Yeah.
But not only that, I didn't want it just to be kind of like, oh, I'm just going to do a set for 10 minutes and other things are going to happen. But I wanted to make like a whole experience.
Yeah.
It's like, if I'm going to do something in New York that's going to have my name on it, it has to really be special. And it was tough for me because, as you mentioned, you know, I was sort of always coming from the consulting and kind of the close-up, and I had never ever really truly done stage magic or stand-up magic.
Right.
Really, I mean, I've done like you know, a set, like a one trick or two tricks.
Right. So this is like your first time really like being the presence.
Yeah, and I had no idea how to do it really, and I was really scared. But at the same time, every part of me knew that I had to do it, but I didn't want to. You know, so it's like. It's like, yeah, you're a magician. I wanted to do a show, but then when they say here do it, I'm like, oh no, man,
right.
I don't know if I can do that.
So question: when they approached you and said, "Hey, would you like to do a show?"
Yeah.
How long did it take for you to put together like an idea, a framework?
Yeah, a long time. So about a full year from when we first started talking about it till it actually happened.
Okay.
But the hardest part was just coming up with a concept, not the tricks. I mean, that was hard too, but I couldn't even get to the tricks until I thought to myself, this is what the show is going to be about, and this is why I want to do it. This is why it's going to be special. You know, because I didn't want to just come up and, hey, I'm Dan White, trick 1, trick 2, trick 3, trick 4. You know, I didn't want that. I wanted, this is my statement, this is my story, and I wanted it to be like a story. I mean, that was really important to me. I wanted it to feel like a story.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I know some people, they're always like, oh, I have this idea for a show, and it's something they've thought about for like 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, and then they never get past that step.
Right.
So it's crazy that you went the other way, that you had the step, but you didn't have the idea.
Right. Well, it was kind of like, it wasn't like, here's the show, it's ready to, you can do it right now. Cool, it wasn't like, here, we want to hire you to do the show. It was like, we've got the space, if you want to do something, do it.
So there was really no pressure.
No pressure.
Oh,
but
dude,
it was on my, it was on you. It was on me, because I knew I had to do it, and I knew it was going to be like the hardest thing I've ever done, because you know, going on stage for a close-up magician is like, it's a scary thought if you've never done it before.
Right.
If you've never done it before.
It is. You know, my first time, this guy, my first time, like doing stand-up.
Yeah.
I did stand-up for a while.
Right.
And I did stand-up because everybody's like, oh, dude, you're funny.
Right.
You should be a comedian.
Right.
And I go up on stage, I'm like, yeah, I'm funny, dude.
Right.
And I go up on stage and I tell my first joke and bomb.
Right.
And the lights get bright. I start sweating. I farted.
No.
I farted, dude.
I've never farted on stage.
No, but it was just like that moment of...
Wait, we did it for comedic effect or just by accident?
No, I didn't know it. I just... I just...
Okay.
So we have to keep moving, because here at the Crown Plaza, if you're trying to film something, the people who work here like to muscle you around, even though you're part of the convention.
This is like 20,000 square feet.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, there's
we gotta
somebody filming, so gotta move.
Right. Yeah. So whatever. So yeah, but I did fart. It was like, I said, dude, I'll never forget. I said the joke, and all I heard was, and glasses, like, you know, people putting down their glasses.
Right.
And all of a sudden, that light just fucking went 30 times brighter.
Right.
And I was like, I didn't know what to say. I started sweating, and like, my stomach knotted up. I literally farted, dude.
Everybody heard it?
Yeah.
Did they laugh?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, at least you got to laugh.
You know what it really was? It was that realization that there's a difference between doing something and being something. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
So that's what it was for me. But so now here's the question, right? So you have your show. Are you comfortable with your show now?
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah.
How long do you think it took you to get to that point where you're just like, this is just what I'm doing?
A long time, and probably a year at least.
Yeah.
A year at least. And honestly, I still go out, still have butterflies in my stomach, still,
right.
You know, I still get nervous, which is good. I mean, I'm glad I get nervous. I'm
right.
Actually kind of
does that help you?
Nervous about not getting nervous, if that makes any sense.
Why?
Because as soon as the moment that I don't get nervous is the moment that I feel like I'm not caring. You know, the more, you know, like, if you're nervous, that means you really care.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so it's a good thing. I embrace the nervousness. It's actually, you know, B. Smith has told me before, it's like, don't call it nervousness, call it excitement. You know, it's not being nervous, you're just excited.
Right.
You know?
That's interesting. Cool. As somebody who's worked in television, on television, having your own show, what do you think is the biggest difference in magic between television and live performing?
Yeah, for me, it's about the selection of material, for sure.
Right.
Because of the TV, you can really get crazy with your methods. Really do some things that would never be able to fly, you know, in a live situation.
Right.
The other thing is, in a live situation, you have to worry about just keeping people interested.
The whole time.
The whole time. And there's a lot of other things you got to do that. You know, movement, comedy, music, all these other things,
Right.
and all of those things happen in post on TV. So you can really focus on like, yeah, I just want this trick to be really great.
Right, so you could
know?
focus on the minutia
Mm-hmm.
as like that whole.
Well, it's you have to look at the lens that you're broadcasting through. So
Right,
you
these
know,
are 16 to 35.
yeah. No, but you know, like on stage, it's a static image that these people are seeing through their own eyes. They're in a seat and they can't really move. So you have to be the movement. Whereas
Right.
with TV, you don't have to be the movement. The camera is the movement. That's the
Right.
thing that changes the focus.
Which do you like more since you've done both?
That's hard. That's hard. I think,
See?
that's really hard. You know, I think honestly, I enjoy doing the stage work now more because it's immediately connected with your spectator. Even though obviously you're performing for one person or two people on TV, you immediately really feel the feedback. And you don't ever get a second chance.
Right.
You know, it's like it either has to work or it doesn't. That's another reason why stage magic, I feel like, can be a lot more difficult because you have to pick the material that you know is going to hit every single time. Not like, oh, this is for that person to hit really good, or we're going to do this until we find somebody who really likes it. You know.
Okay, so since this was like your first time really doing a stage show, right?
Yeah.
Did you feel like you had to tone, because you know you said you have to have effects that hit every time.
Mm-hmm.
But did you see yourself realizing that even though you had effects that hit every time, there were still chances you didn't want to take?
Yeah.
So you would change the method?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It was making the method bulletproof, which sometimes simplifies the method and makes it maybe not as strong as you might do it for TV. Like for instance, you know, in TV you might take more chances with your angles. You might do something that's a little bit more angly. That is a better method because it's more angly, it's more visual, but you would never be able to get away with that.
Right.
You know, almost pretty much surrounded on the stage. So we've changed locations.
Yeah. So you know, thank you, Mr. Hotel Cleaner guy, because every table we go to, he has to clean that one.
Right. We are in a corner of a huge room right now in a completely different section of the convention. So if he comes up,
dude, if he walks in here and starts cleaning this table, I'm gonna flip. I swear to you, dude. We've talked here and there. I've kind of told you guys that he's done consulting and stuff like that. But just give me a quick run through. So you've consulted for guys like David Blaine, Copperfield.
Yeah.
You worked in the magic industry, Theory 11.
Mm-hmm.
Any other company? Like,
no, that's it.
Just Theory 11.
Yeah.
You had your own TV show.
Mm-hmm. Two of them.
Okay, 2 TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
So not only have you worked on TV, you have been the TV personality and had people working for you.
Yeah.
So because you consulted for people before, did you think about people consulting for you differently? Like, did you have different considerations?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I've seen how the consulting industry works, and it's like, you know what, I want this experience to be fun for me, and I want it to be fun for the people who are working on it, and I want it to treat it like a team effort, not like, hey, come up with stuff for me to do. Which might actually be a fault, to be honest, because then it becomes like everybody's buddy, and there might not be as much like real, you know, sort of drive to get the thing done. But I think it's a better experience.
Have you ever had an experience where, because you've been there, where you go, guys, I want to help you out, I want to do this. And then they kind of go, bro, you need to go.
Yeah. No. There's been times where it's like, let's just, we're going to work on this thing because we want to surprise you.
Okay.
We, you know, like, and there's also been things where I'll say, I don't want to influence you guys. Because, you know, when you get in these consulting sort of magician relationships, what happens eventually is the magician or the star of that show is going to be like, I like this. And then all the consultants are like, cool. We're going to forget everything that we were thinking, and we're going to go to that way because it's just going to make that person happy. And at the end of the day,
right. So it's less about the problem that you're trying to solve and more about just kind of
making the person
happy. Just shut up.
Right. And so I've said, like, look, I don't want to influence you guys because if I might be just, you know, they say painters have this saying, who paint portraits, like people who draw, they have this innate tendency to always put features of their face into other people. because it's hard not to, because your face, you see it all the time. So you can't even help it, right? And I think it's the same thing with magicians. Like you have a certain thing that you like, a certain pattern, a certain taste, and because of that, everything sort of ends up looking the same. And it's not just it's not just because you're not creative or you're boring or you can't think. It's just it's how you interpret everything.
Right.
So
that's interesting. Yeah. Okay, so how long have you been at the Nomad so far?
3, almost 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
All right, so you've been there for a bunch of years.
Yeah.
During that time, you've had a child.
Yeah. Yeah. The most magical thing.
Right?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
But now, because of that, you having this residency and having a family, what do you think is the hardest part of like melding all that? Because how many days a week is your show? 3?
3. 2 shows a night.
But there's tons of rehearsals. There's all this stuff.
Yeah.
Is there really a balance?
It's tough. I mean, being a performer, especially a magician, especially in New York at night, I don't get done until 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't go to sleep until 5, and it makes it hard on the rest of the family who are waking up much early.
Right.
But luckily, I've got a great wife, and she's very understanding of this sort of weird schedule that I have to deal with. So it definitely makes it hard. I mean, I think any entertainer, just because of the hours and the workload. But on top of that, the mental creativity that you have to have and the stamina mentally is different than most other jobs. So I think every entertainer has a hard time with being able to balance the art and the family. So I mean, I feel that, and it's always a struggle too, because I want to be the stable, amazing dad, but I also want to be the creative, innovative performer. So
do you think it's harder having a residency, or if you were the guy that had to hustle out the gigs?
I think it's harder to do the hustle, for sure.
Because you have that stability of that place you can grow.
With the traveling and everything, it makes it difficult. But if you can do it, it's also a lot more rewarding to have that travel and that moving around, because you really see and meet so many different people, and you're always have the ability to try crazy new things that it's a little harder to get away with when people are expecting a thing for a certain product.
So you don't have to answer this if you don't want to.
Yeah.
I want you to answer, but I'm not threatening you.
Yeah.
I might be threatening you.
Okay.
Do you see yourself doing this residency long term?
Yeah.
Like is this something where you want to be? This is your gig, and everybody in the world knows that it's there until you can't perform anymore.
Well, I think it's a good question. That would be great. I wouldn't be mad at that. I would like to do more than that, but that's sort of like that. I would love to have it forever. It'd be great, and I love doing it. I love the people. I love it, but I would love to make it bigger as well. And really sort of push the envelope on either making it just doper as it is, or expanding it or moving it to a different location, whatever.
Anything? Have you started looking towards expanding it now?
Yeah, and there's been some opportunities presented to me, none of which that have really made sense or really worked out. And anything I would do, I would want to do it with Nomad, because they were the first people who really believed in me, and
they gave you that chance, gave you that space.
Yeah, and that would be the next expansion, I think, of the thing. It's how they would take it and really sort of align the brands to make it really spectacular.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
it's hard to find a place to really believe in you.
Well, that's the thing, and I think it's just if you find somebody that ever gives you a nod or a favor, repay that to them. They deserve it. And it's important to be loyal and it's all those things. Yeah.
Okay, last question. What is you do stage magic? I know you do close-up magic, but what is your favorite type of magic? It's not necessarily for you to do, just in general. If you had to, I love this.
Yeah, I mean, I love the mental stuff. The mental stuff is great because it appeals to people on a different level. It really does. I mean, it's the organic nature of the whole thing. If I were to sort of narrow it down, and we've talked about this a lot I've worked with Blake and Jonathan Boehm and B. Smith and John Stessel, and we talked, for me, one of my favorite moments, and this is another, just going back to that sort of portraiture idea, I put this in a lot of things. I love the moment of the, I don't even have a term for it, I guess, but it's It's the moment where you throw a curveball in the whole thing, and then you resolve that curveball in a way that no one was expecting, and it gives the reaction of you reveal something, you're like, oh, right, and then and then oh crap. Do you know what I mean?
Like,
so
like the
it's,
kickback hit.
yeah, it's a kickback.
Double
I guess.
smack.
Double smackdown. It's always about that double smack. You know, it really is. It's like, those are the best reactions. It's the cool. Oh, you know what I mean? So that for me, I don't even. I guess we could call it a kickback.
This is our world, baby.
It's the double smack.
It's the
I need
the
to think
panda
of an
push down. Yeah, no, that's interesting.
Because you know, magic. At the end of the day, the core of it is surprise, right? I mean, it really is. You know, there's obviously there's the beauty and all of that and the transcendental sort of thoughts, but without surprise, it's hard to have really, really great magic,
right?
You know, because it needs to be amazing, and you know, so like doubling down on the surprise, I guess, is basically leading them to a place where they feel like they know where they're going, where they know where you're going.
You let them assume.
Yeah, and then twisting that assumption.
Yeah,
that's the best. I mean, that's most magic already, but really pushing it further.
Well, I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think most magic is, now that I see, like the typical type magic is very much like bam bam, like it has to follow these rules.
Right.
Like bam 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 bam, boring, and then maybe surprise, and then I'll tell you to clap.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no real like allowing people to assume that the trick is over or they know where it's going.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you know where the trick is going.
Right.
You know.
So
yeah, I like that, man. That's awesome. Well, cool.
Anything else? Come on.
Nah, man. You want to keep going?
Yeah, let's do this.
All right, we'll switch it up now. Let's switch it up. What do you think was the
only reason I'm saying let's switch it up is because we have the space, and for some reason, we've gotten to a point where no one's bothering us. It took us a while.
So, what do you think was the hardest thing to incorporate into your show?
Hardest thing, specific, like illusion-wise?
Anything. It could be lighting, audio, atmosphere, angles. When you started doing the show and you started making your initial changes and you said, I think maybe we should go this direction, or your team said maybe we should go in this direction, what was the hardest thing to incorporate?
Okay, two things. The most important thing was vibe. You have to decide your vibe.
Yeah.
Everyone gets a vibe from someone when they first meet them.
Yeah.
You know, and I have the space and I want the vibe to be what I want people to feel. You can have the best show in the world. Show in the world. But if you do it in McDonald's or you do it in a parking lot, you do it, you know, like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, true.
You kill the vibe immediately.
Right.
So whatever your act is, whatever you do, make sure the vibe around everything else, from the fabric on the chairs, from the way the chair looks, from the color of the carpet to the ceiling, all of those things are vibes. If I sit in a room and I'm seeing a great magician, but these chairs are uncomfortable and there's a big, ugly restroom sign next to me, like that's a mood killer. It's a vibe killer.
Whenever I've tried to help people with their show, usually they don't think about all that stuff. They just kind of go the, I guess, you know, I can do these things and I'll just charge people for it and we'll do it wherever.
People will come.
Yeah.
Can you imagine going to a restaurant of the best chef in the world, and it's in, you know, like just dirty, terrible, smelly, restaurant, like you would never, like, just that they don't, those things,
unless that's their thing.
Unless that's their thing, but then you would know that that's their thing.
Right,
they would tell you. You would get it, because there's absolutely a play of, we're gonna twist the expectation for sure. So that,
I heard about a restaurant in New York, where you go in.
Time out. I love, those are my favorite restaurants. The one where it's kind of crappy and like those are the best ones, because then you're surprised. So then your expectations are set so low, and then when the food comes out, you're like, whoa, holy crap. So you know, there's no steadfast rule with this thing, but what I'm saying is you have to think about it. You have to think about it.
But that is the environment, whether it's great or shitty, right? Like, it's got to be that part of that thing.
Yeah, you have to think about it. Don't just let it happen by chance.
Yeah. So I heard about this restaurant in New York.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe you have to, where they literally treat you like crap.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You heard about this? And you go in and you order food, and then they just give you whatever they want.
Right.
And if
But
you don't
that's
eat
part
it-
of the experience.
That is
If
part
you-
of the experience.
If you didn't
yeah.
know that was part of the experience, so and you just showed up and you're like
Yeah.
completely caught off guard,
Yeah.
if you were going to Chili's or something, and like shut the fuck up.
All right, so whenever I help people with their show, one of the things I try to do is start off by just going, look, I don't care what you do now. I want you to just tell me your dream show. But don't tell it to me like, you know, this method, that method. Tell me like you're describing a movie to me, right?
So that's what I did with
Okay.
the first iteration of the whole
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
And that's how I pitched the whole thing. It was like I didn't even go into any of the effects. I didn't talk about the effects.
Right.
It was, this is going to happen at the beginning. It's going to be about this. This is the story. This is the mood. This is the thing. These are how the lights work, and this is how it's going to sound.
Yeah.
I didn't even mention one trick when I was talking to my friends about it or whatever.
Right.
And after those conversations, I was like, so what tricks are you going to do?
Right.
I haven't thought about it yet.
Right. Which really is the easy part.
Right. Well, as a magician, because that's what you do all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the easy and the hard part, because once I had a general framework, then it was a lot easier to put the pieces in versus working the opposite way around.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think that's it, man.
Yeah.
My battery's about to die.
Okay.
So anyway, Dan, thank you so much, bro.
Yeah, I hope that was helpful to somebody. I mean,
Yeah. I didn't necessarily want this to be helpful. I just
Right.
kind of, I just,
Interesting.
there was just things I wanted to know,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
figured, why not just record it? And maybe somebody else wanted to know. Maybe they're doing their own show. Maybe they have an opportunity and they're scared and whatever, right? Like, this is really what I wanted to know.
Cool.
I'm not lying about that. But dude, thank you so much,
Thank
brother.
you.
Man, it's
Absolutely.
awesome. I didn't actually expect you to come to this convention. And when
Really?
you walked in, it was just like, yo, what?
Yeah.
Did
It
it?
was a last minute thing. Me,
Yeah.
B. Smith, so I work with B. Smith and Steph, so we just hopped into a car and
Yeah, and it was awesome, man.
I'm glad we did. It's been a great convention.
Yeah,
Really
yeah.
great.
So-
Josh and those guys really.
Yeah,
put it together.
Magifest. So if you guys want to come down next year, check it out.
Yeah.
And maybe Dan will show up and you can ask him for autographs and pictures and he'll ignore you.
Of course.
Anyway, let's get out of here, bro.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
man.
guys.